What's your initial thoughts? Kansas City versus Baltimore, week 1.
As far as Kansas City, they ain't tripping on nothing. They just won the chip. But as far as Baltimore, I mean, a lot of people tripping on it. But I'm like, fuck, I'd rather be thrown straight into the fire. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, people can try to say all they want to as far as how we lost that game, but we fucking lost. So I think that's just a lot of people trying to see this as a revenge game, and uh, I don't too much see it as that. I see this game more as a measuring stick, and because it's and that this kind of gonna tie into what we're gonna talk to a little bit later on, what you texted me earlier. But I see this more as a measuring stick, just because at the end of the day, you got to get through the big dog. Not that you build your team to get through one team, but you got to be able to get through the big dog. So just with all the moves that Baltimore done made, and again, we see Kansas City look like they receiving core, except for that one rookie they had last year. Pretty much gonna look different again. So we just gonna be able to see the greatness of Pat Mahomes for another season, having to bring it all together. But I just think it's a major stick for us, just because yeah, we got Derrick Henry, but we lost a whole lot of offensive linemen. The defense, I feel like, is going to be fine. I just want to see how, of course, Lamar adjusts to year 2 of having this offensive coordinator. And I really want to see how they're going to use him and Derrick Henry in that backfield. So I'm just really anxious to see, is Baltimore going to stick to who they are, especially when you have that marquee name at running back. Like, you can get away with that shit that you pulled off in the playoffs last year, just because, okay, y'all can, or we ain't got no running back. Okay, cool. You can't get away with that excuse now. So I think this would probably show how the game probably could have went had we ran the ball. And this is, to me, whether we had Derrick Henry or not. I mean, you don't become a leading rusher for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Henry, to me, even though I wanted him, he's just somebody that, if this were to happen again, we not finna sit here and just say, okay, all y'all boys can keep y'all job on the offensive side of the ball, and we just gonna get y'all more personnel. This go around, that shit happened again in the same fashion, where they just decide not to do the same thing that got them to this point. Oh, somebody getting fired. I don't know who it is, but somebody gonna get fired. But all in all, just to keep it short, this game is a measuring stick to me. We beat Kansas City. Everything else don't really too much matter to me. I know we still gonna lose other games, but this is gonna be the measuring stick to me, because this is gonna be a playoff type atmosphere. They're gonna be in Kansas City. They just celebrated a chip, and they just seen their team beat our ass in Baltimore last year. So they definitely gonna be ready to go crazy in Kansas City. So, but I'm ready for it, bro. I ain't never want them to try to run from these big games. I want them to play the best teams in the league, just because I need us to go. Just like last year, we played and beat some of the best teams in the league last year, and clearly you saw what that turned into. That turned into another number 1 seed and another first round bye week. So I want them to play the best of the best every single year. So once playoff time come around, ain't no excuses.
So, you can agree, even as a Ravens fan, this ain't just no regular game. This is a big time game, opening week, and it matters.
It's a big time game, just because in the sense this is the only game that's on. It's the only game that's on. And to me,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't try to use it as no revenge game for what happened last year. To me, it's a measuring stick for this year. I get it's week 1, and yeah, we gonna see some little mistakes here and there, like we always do. We got a whole bunch of new faces on the offensive side of the ball. Rashad Bateman look like he finally gonna be healthy for a full season. Zay Flowers is back for his second year as a rookie. And to me, I just feel like it's a whole bunch of changes that could be made on this offense when you look at, you got a talent like Isaiah Likely. I mean, shit, I remember before that game came on last year, I was wondering why the Ravens don't run a 2 tight end set a lot more often. And as soon as I said that, that's exactly how Kansas City beat us. They had at least 2 to 3 tight ends on the field a whole lot of times, and they killed us. I mean, shit, it was tight ends that a lot of people didn't even know Kansas City had that was catching passes on us. So when you got a talent like Mark Andrews that you done paid, and you got Isaiah Likely, and I believe our third tight end name is Charlie Kolar, who's a good blocker and a decent pass catcher. I think that this year, again, is a measuring stick. We need to be able to use all of these different pieces of our offense at all times. Like there's like, because I compared, and just to wrap it up, I compared the situation that Kansas City and Baltimore in to the New England Patriots when they had Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. When you had both of them tight ends out there, them niggas was unstoppable. It was already enough to have Gronk, but when you had him and Aaron Hernandez, that was two pass catching tight ends. Oh my God, that's the vision I see for the Baltimore Ravens. They can, you can still run the ball and do whatever you want to with two tight end sets if you want to. So I just want to see how a lot more dynamic this offense is going to be now that we done seen some of these pieces we done had to use and we still got them.
So what is your expectations for Derrick Henry just in this specific game, and then maybe overall in the season? Like what do you want to see out of Derrick Henry?
I mean, shit. I don't need to see. I don't need to see the Derrick Henry of old, Tony for almost 2,000 yards, but I still just need to see. I just need him to be him.
Yeah.
And my hope is that he'll be a little bit, because even as many yards as he was getting, he really it was some of them years where he wasn't like average. His yards per average wasn't the best in the league. But when you're getting the ball 25, 30 times, and you're the one that's literally carrying your team, it don't really fucking matter how many yards per attempt you get, because you're gonna constantly keep getting the ball because you're the clear-cut best player on that team. So, if anything, just more efficiency, because we have the offensive line to do it, to where he shouldn't have to tote the rock 25 to 30 times to get the same amount of yards he was getting.
So he was at 1,100 yards last year, 4.2 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns, 280 carries. So,
and that was a down year for him, but he was a lot more efficient. But it
do you
was
expect him to crack 1,000?
Oh yeah, easy.
Okay.
Like, and the only reason why I say easy is just because Lamar shouldn't even be running the ball that much no more. Like, we know he's still gonna run. Like, he even knows that. But it shouldn't be one of them situations to where he needs to run all the time. But even still, I ain't even really worried too much about that if he do have to run the ball, just because he don't never get hurt on running plays anyway. He always get hurt in the pocket. It's just been protecting him during the pass plays that's been our problem. But it should take a lot. And then on top of that, I don't really want him running the ball as much because he lost weight again. He dropped his weight again. So, but yeah, I think that.
You think Derrick Henry gonna have a better year than Saquon? Which one of the new running backs will have a better year, and who should have the better year?
I feel like Saquon gonna have more total all around yards just because he's a more of a dual threat than what Derrick Henry is. But I feel like Derrick Henry should be able to easy, depending on what they do and how they use him. I think 1,200 yards ain't far fetched for him to get.
Do he get 100 yards Thursday?
Huh?
Do he get over 100 Thursday?
He should.
Okay.
He should, and it all depends if Baltimore sticks to what they know. If they run the ball, which is what they, because I mean, I'm listening to this morning. They were top 4 offense in the league, and they did that by being a run first team. And just go look at all these top teams, especially when we just talking about top teams in the NFC that we beat down with what people could argue would be less offensive talent. So there's no reason why we shouldn't still keep that train going. Like, yeah, I understand we lost some offensive linemen. I don't care. Figure it out. That's what all the best coaches and offensive coordinators do. If you got to go pick somebody else up off of free agency, because if it just ain't working, I don't care. Figure it out. We thought Kansas City offensive line was done for whenever they got their ass beat by Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. Next offseason, one offseason, got that offensive line rebuilt. So it's no excuses. If you ain't got the right man for the job to figure that out, then it's just time to find somebody else. That's just the nature of the game.
Okay, before we transition to the Chiefs side, just real quick, if the Ravens lose this game, what do you think would cause the loss? What would it be?
Uh,
And what's your biggest worry?
the continuity of the offense. Like I said, I think this defense is going to be fine. I don't too much. I mean, the only thing that I'm kind of worried about maybe our second string corner, but I ain't even really gonna put too much on a defense that held these niggas to 17 points. That ain't the problem. Even with some of the pieces that we lost, I need to see how it's like I said, when you got a second year coordinator and you have a piece like Derrick Henry, how fluid is this offense going to look? Especially now you trying to include Rashad Bateman into the fold a lot more because he wasn't there. So you have more pieces available to you that you didn't have last year, although you did lose some pieces. So I just need to see how the offense is going to flow and just make sure and just don't panic because it's some of them boys in that ass they are gonna look at this as a revenge game. But the only reason why I'm not, it's week one. It's week one. And the only reason why I'm glad it's week one is like, okay, for one, what I'm gonna look at is how you lost. And then I'm also have to take into account, okay, it's week one. Now, if this was week 7, 8, 9, and same shit happened, then it's gonna, of course, my response will be a lot different because, like, okay, y'all ain't got too much more time to figure this shit out. Like, we midway through, it's time to start playing winning football because if you don't got that train going, shit, around Thanksgiving on, it's over with.
Okay. Kansas City side of things. Patrick Mahomes, I think he's 3-1 versus Lamar, 1-0 in the playoffs. They on a quest to three-peat. Just in this particular game, what do you think Kansas City mindset gonna be and how they gonna approach this game? Because they lost last year to Detroit to open the season off a Super Bowl. So do you think they'll come out with a little extra swag? And do you think this is one of the better Kansas City teams that you've seen?
I still don't think it's one of the better teams I've seen. The best team to me that he had was when he won that first MVP and threw for like over 5,000 yards. But I still think this is a pretty solid squad as long as all their receivers start getting in the shit. But I still think this is a solid squad because they got a lot of speedsters. They got a lot of fast receivers. I like Isaiah Pacheco. He done turned out to be a clear-cut number one back for them. We know what Travis Kelce gonna do. And again, they've made sure after that one Super Bowl when so many people got hurt on the offensive line, they made sure they keep offensive linemen. And they just paid interior lineman, to make him one of the top highest paid linemen in the league. So for them, man, with Kansas City, I just think, when you one of them people or you just one of them teams where you just know what the expectation is, this ain't nothing to them, in my opinion, man. Pat third chip, his second in 2 years, his back-to-back. This shit ain't new to him, man. He a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. And shit, arguably, he did it with one of the worst squads we thought he had last year and still showed you why he is 15. So to them, I just feel like this is a regular season game to them. This is them just putting on a show for their fans after bringing home another chip. This ain't nothing new to these boys. They are probably, unless you probably one of these youngsters or whatever that just got there or something like that. But to the dudes that's done been there, done that, this ain't nothing to them, man. This is another regular season game. They probably in the locker room at the beginning of the game trying to tell them, hey, this is their Super Bowl to them. We already took care of business. So I ain't worried about them boys.
What do you think should worry Kansas City? Do they got any glaring holes in their team? Like, what should be the focus in this game in terms of, we need to see this?
The only thing that I think should worry Kansas City is Baltimore actually plays like Baltimore. If you ask me, Kansas City kind of got off kind of easy just with Baltimore throwing the ball as much as they did when they played them in the playoffs last year. I mean, because shit, dog. I've seen plenty of interviews when you got people that's talking about going against a team that runs the ball like that. A lot of these motherfuckers ain't built to be trying to stop a motherfucker coming at them like that. So I just really think with Kansas City, it's gonna be just kind of like with everybody, they just gonna be trying to figure out how this Lamar and Derrick Henry duo is finna work. And hell, we ain't shit in the past couple of years. I don't think in the era of the dual threat quarterbacks, I ain't really seen too many that got a top running back like that. Like Jalen just got Saquon, so we finna see. I mean, yeah, he had DeAndre Swift and some other dudes, but we didn't look at them the way that we look at Derrick Henry or Saquon. So I kind of want to like two people that absolutely command to have the football in their hands. So I think it's just going to be interesting to see because you got two quarterbacks that are deadly with their legs, and you also got two top 10 running backs in the league, in my opinion, that deserve to touch the ball at least 20 times, whether it be running the ball or catching it at the backfield. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing, just trying to figure out how exactly is Baltimore going to use that to their advantage. And and that's going to, that's going to have defensive coordinators trying to figure out how they're going to play it, because to me, there should be no reason why play action should not be Baltimore's best friend with Lamar and Derrick Henry back there.
So you think who do you think should be favored in this game, and what's your final predictions? Because right now, KC is number 1 Super Bowl odds to three-peat, and Baltimore is, I think they are number 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that's right, or do you think Baltimore should be favored?
So they got Kansas City 1, they got Baltimore 4.
Mm-hmm. Super Bowl.
So who they got 2 and 3?
I did not put it down.
Okay, that's cool. But I mean, I can respect it having Baltimore at 4. Just as long as they ain't got nobody crazy at 2 and 3. But
what's your final predictions for this game? And then we can get to the other ones.
I think it's whoever wins, bro, it's gonna be a close win. Of course, just the fandom in me is like, hey, of course I'm saying Baltimore off the rip, but man, I think it's gonna be like a close 4-point win. I don't think the game is gonna be as low scoring as it was. I think both teams will probably at least get to 21, but I think it's gonna be a close game just because I think Lamar is also kind of tired of hearing the noise, because ever since he lost that game, now all of a sudden it's been, he been hearing about him and Patrick Mahomes, like his record and stuff like that. I mean, which is cool. I mean, it is what it is. But I think it's just for him, just a game to kind of, shut everybody up. Even though he still ain't gonna have a winning record against him, I think he just needs to show that he can beat him. Which, I mean, again, regular season to me, I ain't too crazy about, just because hell, Josh Allen done beat him plenty of times in the regular season, but when it comes playoff time, we see what happens. So, but again, I just think this is just more of a measuring stick for them to see where this team could possibly go throughout the season.
Okay. So who you picked to win?
I got Baltimore. Like I said, probably just by like 3 or 4 points. I think it's gonna be a close ass game.
Okay. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I got Kansas City just because I think Mahomes just got a Lamar number, man. And I just think it's one of them things, man. Jordan to Clyde. I just think it's a Jordan to Clyde type situation. So we all know Lamar's good. We all know he's going to the Hall of Fame, but he just so happened to be in the same division, in the same time frame as the Michael Jordan.